Well, it's that time, ladies and gentlemen. All good things come to an end. But with death comes rebirth. And folks, we are mere, not years, not months, we are weeks away from the beginning of the regular season of the 2021 NFL season. And with the return of the NFL season is fantasy football season. And all of our loyal listeners have heard us talk about quarterbacks. You've heard us talk about running backs. You've heard us talk about wide receivers. You've heard us talk about tight ends. Well, today, ladies and gents, we are going to bring you sleepers, busts, and the long-awaited Perfect Spiral mock draft. We have a lot coming at you tonight. It's going to be headache-worthy, but I promise you, it's all worth it. John's smiling at me like the golden rose that he is.
Wow, golden rose.
And I am ready. Fantasy football is our bread and butter. So let's melt some cheese and let's go to work. Perfect Spiral. Fantasy football season, episode 4, coming at you.
You play to win the game.
Touchdown! Can't wait.
John,
What kind of cheese are you melting?
white American, obviously.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going shredded cheddar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like pepper jack sometimes too.
You know what's funny is I don't really have pepper jack.
Pepper
ever.
jack's great stuff. But we're not here to talk about cheese. We're here to talk about fantasy football. How we doing, folks? My name is Joe Miglio. I am the co-host of Perfect Spiral, along with my partner, John McCarthy. John, how are we doing on this Thursday night, August 26th?
It's hot out, man.
It is hot.
I was outside for just about 15 minutes before you got here,
Uh-huh.
and I'm drenched.
You were waiting for my arrival.
I was.
You know how hot I am.
All hot and bothered.
I know. I got a haircut today. I feel great.
Did you? I
did.
feel like your hair always kind of looks the same.
I feel it does look the same, but it's just sometimes it gets shorter, sometimes it gets longer. It's fantastic. We are here for episode number 27 of Perfect Spiral. Unbelievable. We are, John, you know what today, and I just realized this because I'm a mathematician. We have done half a year's worth of episodes tonight.
Really?
52 weeks in a year.
Wow.
Episode number 27.
That's pretty intense.
Actually, we're a little bit ahead because 26 would be 52. So 26 times 2 is 52. 27, we're just past the halfway point
Wow.
of a year's worth of episodes.
I would have never guessed that because I can't do math.
Amazing.
Unless it's fantasy football.
That's right. And we have everyone to thank. Guys, we have eclipsed the 900 download mark. And John, did you know, I didn't know this, did you know that I've been thinking that downloads are the only way we could, that's the only way we could track people who listen. But people could listen without downloading the episode. I didn't know this.
Oh, really?
Yes, you could just listen on Spotify without downloading. I didn't know this.
Wait, so is there a number?
I know you can't track it, but it's fine.
Okay.
But I want to thank everybody. We have hit now a perfect 7 countries that have listened to Perfect Spiral. It is mind-blowing. So thank you, everybody. Continue to rate, review, and subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. We are platformed primarily on Apple and Spotify. We also are on Google and Pandora as well as other platforms. Today, John, what do we got on deck today, John? Tell us.
So we have our training camp report.
Oh, of course.
Which...
The last one.
Wow. This is emotional. Now you're making me emotional.
I know.
Wow. So, all right, wait. So this is the last fantasy pod.
So this is the last, yes, this is the last, main fantasy pod. Over the year, we're going to have, a fantasy segment.
Well, yes, of course.
Right. But, there's not going to be, a full-fledged fantasy episode after.
Wow. So next week is our predictions episode. Huh?
No, I don't think so. We have 2 weeks worth of non. I think we're gonna make it like one big mega episode. We're gonna break it down into part 1 and part 2.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay. Because I forgot what day it is.
Today's Thursday.
No, I know what day it is.
And then next week, we got to do the episode on Wednesday because we have our fantasy draft on that Thursday.
Wow, Ronaldo League fantasy draft.
Boom.
Maybe if you check our Twitter, I'll go live on Twitter and you could see us drafting.
Yeah,
I mean, why not?
it's gonna be live.
Fuck it.
It's gonna be a live draft.
Let's do it.
I mean, you could do it. I'm the commissioner, so I can't be worried with that.
I know. I'll take care of it.
You got to take care of that stuff.
I will. I don't pick until the 8th round anyway, so I got nothing better.
Yeah, I know
to do.
because you're a clown. But so here's what we got going on. As John mentioned, we got a training camp report we can get to in a second. We're gonna go over sleepers and busts, deep sleepers and busts, guys. We're not gonna give you like DeAndre Swift because that's not really a sleeper. We're gonna give you like guys who are ranked like 50 and above in each position. And then our last segment, which is going to be our longest segment today, we're actually going to do a live mock draft. We're going to do the first 6 rounds live, and then we're going to post the rest of the draft onto Twitter. So make sure you're following us on Twitter if you want to see. And the draft is going to be a redraft, regular scoring settings. And we'll go over all what those settings will be when we do the mock draft. But just so you're aware, so make sure that you listen until the mock draft. John.
Yes.
Training camp report.
I'm ready.
Is the key in the ignition to the bus.
The key is we are on the bus right now.
We are on the bus.
Yeah, everyone's seated. The chips are out.
The popcorn's ready.
Everything's ready in the bus.
All right. Is T.O.'s driving the bus?
He is driving the bus.
Where's the bus going first?
The bus is going to Vegas first.
So we're going cross country.
We're going long trip.
Long trip. Make our way back.
Yes.
Right. Vegas. Why is the bus stopping in Vegas?
Can we just highlight again the ineptitude of the Vegas organization? We do this every 4 episodes.
Kind of like a common thing. But honestly, we need to keep reminding the people of why, though. So please enlighten our listeners why Vegas is again being incompetent.
So Mike Mayock made a phone call to a very curious spot. And that curious spot, Joe just almost choked on his water. That very curious spot was the Chicago Bears. Huh. Wow, that's interesting, Joe. Who's on the Chicago Bears? Khalil Mack. What's funny? I know that in the league you have to be respectful to other GMs, obviously. If I was a GM and the Raiders called after they traded me Khalil Mack and they did not want Khalil Mack, who is one of the best defensive players of the decade,
definitely,
I'm hanging up the phone. I'm seeing it's Mike Mayock and I'm clicking hang up. Why even call?
I'm just curious. Can we just go over this really quick? Because I think this is fascinating. I really do.
Of course it's fascinating. It's ridiculous.
They traded Khalil Mack. They traded Amari Cooper. 2 high talent players who, call me crazy, John, if those 2 players were on the team today, would probably still be the 2 best players on the roster. Am I correct in saying that?
You
genuinely, honestly,
100%.
If those 2 guys were still on the roster today, that they would be the best players on their roster.
Correct.
And they have yet to replicate. And this is the thing that I think is the biggest thing about this franchise. They traded Mack and got 2 first-round picks for Khalil Mack. They traded Cooper to Dallas and got 2 first-round picks for Amari Cooper. They turned that into Clelin Ferrell, Josh Abrams, Damon Arnett, and Henry Ruggs III.
That's no good, Joe.
There's a reason I'm silent. Because that is... And it scares me as a Jaguar fan. Genuinely scares me because it's similar. We traded Jalen Ramsey and we got 2 picks and it became C.J. Henderson and Travis Etienne. No, Kayvon Chason and Travis Etienne. And I'm scared because I feel not we're going down the same road, but it's scary.
Yeah, because you see yourself in the mirror a little
bit.
Bit.
Because the Raider ineptitude up to this point has been kind of amazing. when this team had everything going for them. They were moving to Vegas. They have a beautiful, beautiful new stadium, which I'm dying to get to, by the way.
Yeah, that stadium.
Dying to get to. And it's not like, you know what the thing is too? It's not like they're terrible, right? They're not the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not the New York Jets. They're not the Detroit Lions. But the Raiders just exist. That's the worst place to be, John. That's the worst place to be.
Silently existing in the league and just kind of getting by every year.
They're not even in the same stratosphere as Kansas City. The Chargers have now surpassed them in terms of rebuild, right? And I think they're on the same level as Denver. And Denver might even be better than them.
You know what's funny, Joe? I'm going to tell you this before we move on from Vegas. I want to say this. I feel like they think in some weird way that they're playing 4D chess, but all this move for them to call about Khalil Mack shows me is that they don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. They don't have a clue what they're doing, Joe. Because you don't make that trade and then you call the team that you traded him to and say, hey, is he available again? That's like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's like breaking up with a girl. She finds another boyfriend, then calling the boyfriend, be like, hey, can I have her back?
That's literally what I was just thinking. Like it doesn't make any sense. And we're not talking about some like players go back to old teams all the time. You see it with New England.
Right.
Guys will leave and come back. That's fine. They'll leave. They'll get traded back.
Because they're comfortable with the coach.
Exactly. This isn't just like any player, though. This is Khalil Mack. This is one of the best defensive players in the league and one of the best defensive players in the decade.
Who John Gruden threw away, by the way.
Like, didn't even give him a chance.
Threw him away.
Yeah. Like, he's not worth our money.
And I'm ready to... it's been, 3 years? I'm ready to say the John Gruden experiment is done.
What'd you see about Mariota?
No.
Mariota didn't even suit up because he wasn't physically, prepared.
What does that even mean?
I have no fucking clue. That was another bizarre thing, real quick. I mean, the Mariota thing just never made sense.
John Gruden's got a 10-year contract.
Yeah, but you know what? He's boys with the owner, Mr. Bowlcut. They go to sporting events together. They go to UFC fights together. You know what's funny is I guess just Mark Davis is okay with mediocrity. A team that's made the playoffs once in the last 30 years.
They're literally not going to be relevant in that division for the next 5 years at minimum.
Of course.
At minimum.
It's bad.
I just, and it's sad because, you have this beautiful new stadium and you have this franchise, some of the Raider fans themselves are some of the best fans in football. And, it's just like, what do you have to show for it? Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Literally nothing. Very sad stuff coming out of Vegas. And I feel for Derek Carr because I feel like he's done nothing but be supportive of that franchise and he's gotten nothing in return from them.
Nothing.
Zero. All right. The bus is getting back on the highway, putting it into drive, and we are going to Denver.
Let's go to Denver.
Thank you so much. Very close to Las Vegas.
Yes, very close.
Short
trip.
If you were not paying attention or if you live under a rock, then you would not know that Teddy Bridgewater was announced the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos.
Shocking.
I was shocked.
I was shocked too.
I really, really was because from all indication and everything that we were reading, Drew Lock had a pretty good camp. And he was playing well in the preseason. Teddy was playing fine too, but
I thought they were pretty similar.
But Teddy was being Teddy. He wasn't going above and beyond. And I really think, it's interesting, right? Because in John Elway's tenure as GM / president, whatever, because now he's not the GM anymore. He's the team president.
He's the vice president.
He's always shot for the moon when it comes to quarterbacks, right? He's always shot, he drafted Paxton Lynch in the first round, and then he got Peyton Manning, and then he did this, and he did that. And that's fine, and that's great. You should always shoot for the stars. It doesn't always work out, but he got a title out of it in 2015 with Peyton, so it's fine. But, here's where I have a problem with this. You know what Teddy Bridgewater is. Everyone in the league knows what Teddy Bridgewater is. He is a game manager who doesn't turn the ball over, which is great. But he's not going to be a guy that you say, hey, go throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. It's not what he's going to do.
Not at all. I know him very well, Joe.
I know you do. Drew Lock, for all of his faults that he has, and there are many, let's not There are many faults Drew Lock has. Drew Lock still has an opportunity to become something in the NFL. And this is where I have a problem. Why are you settling? Because basically what they're doing is they're settling for mediocrity here in the AFC with Teddy, where Drew Lock, whether he falls flat on his face or he rises to the occasion, one way or the other, you have your answer with Drew Lock. If he falls flat on his face, you're a bottom 5 team and you draft a quarterback next year, right? Fine. Start over, no problem. He rises to the occasion. Now you have a franchise quarterback with not 1, not 2, but 3 good receivers, a brand new running back, and a young budding star tight end. Right? Now you have a game manager quarterback with Jerry Jeudy, who was a first-round pick, Cortland Sutton, who was a first-round pick, KJ Hamler, who was a third-round pick, and Noah Fant, who was a first-round pick. You drafted Javonte Williams in round number 2, I believe, yep. And you got an aging Melvin Gordon, but Melvin Gordon's one of the better backups or partners in the league, right? That's
rotation
fine.
Running backs, yeah.
Right? So, you have all the offensive pieces there, and your defense is pretty good, right? Your defense is not bad.
Solid.
So you're a quarterback away.
We said this when we spoke about Aaron Rodgers and when we discussed...
Right. Denver's a quarterback away. So why would you not give the kid a shot? Because, listen, and you know this, John, every team in training camp, in the offseason, during their OTAs, well, and listen, they're right to say it, right? Because you can't sell this to guys. You can't sell it to guys any other way. These are grown men who have a job, right? This is their career.
Correct.
You go into training camp and say, we're fighting to win a title, right? Now, you play for the Detroit Lions, you play for the Jacksonville Jaguars, you play for 20 of the 32 teams in the NFL, and, they say, we're going to compete for championship. You're like, okay, great. Yeah, sure. No problem. Denver's one of those teams. Sorry to burst your bubble, Bronco fans, but you're one of those teams, like many of us, where you're not competing for a title this year yet. If Drew Lock were to start and become a star, then maybe. But now you don't even get the opportunity to find out if that's even a thing.
You know what's funny, Joe, about the whole Drew Lock situation? I'm not crazy about Drew Lock. It's no secret that they were kind of shopping him at one point or another. But you know what's crazy about this whole thing is that I'm looking at a bigger scope on this situation, right? And hear me out on this. If you're Denver and now you're turning around and you're saying that Teddy Bridgewater is your starting quarterback, right? Which, listen, Teddy, there's always a special spot in my heart for Teddy Two Gloves.
Right. Teddy Two Gloves.
But without the Vikings bias, if you're starting Teddy Bridgewater on your team, right? And you are looking at Justin Fields in the preseason. Do you feel, and Mac Jones in the preseason for that matter?
They passed on both guys.
Carolina's another team. If you're Denver, you're feeling some type of way right now. And Denver fans, you're feeling some type of way right now because you whiffed on the draft.
They drafted Surtain. Surtain's a great player.
He's a great player, but when we're talking about a team that's a quarterback away...
Can you imagine how much hype would be around that team if Justin Fields was the quarterback of that team?
Especially after what we saw from Justin Fields in the preseason? Yeah, it would be through the roof. Denver would be on another level right now. And it's sad because now you're looking at a team where it's like, we started Teddy Bridgewater, and everybody's like, what? When Drew Lock, granted, like I said, I'm not crazy about Drew Lock. Guy kind of has gotten the short end of the stick there. Can we agree on that?
Absolutely. And listen, there are guys coming out next year, J.P. Howell from North Carolina and Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma, who are going to be top picks in the draft next year. That's all well and good. But I don't think, as of right now, either of those guys were really on the same level as any of the 5 quarterbacks who came out this year.
No, we might have had the best 5 quarterbacks, to come out in a long time. Especially after what we saw in the preseason.
So I don't know. But to me, it's puzzling. And from a fantasy perspective, completely limits the upside of guys like Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton.
150%.
Completely.
Because they're not throwing the ball, but then you know what it does? Javonte Williams.
Right. Rise.
Through the roof.
Right, absolutely.
Through the roof.
Agree. All right.
You want to get out of the way now?
Let's take the bus to New Orleans really quick.
Oh, you want to go to New Orleans?
I want to go to New Orleans first. Really quick. I don't spend a lot of time on this. Jacksonville played New Orleans Monday night, and Jameis got the start. Taysom Hill came in backup. Folks, there's no quarterback competition in New Orleans either. Just like we've been clamoring, there's no quarterback competition, which ended yesterday in Jacksonville. There's no quarterback competition in New Orleans. I mean, John.
It's Jameis.
It's Jameis Winston. All day, every day. The guy's got more talent. The guy throws a better ball. You saw he threw two beautiful deep balls on Monday night.
To Marquez Callaway.
And Marquez Callaway, who we're going to talk about in our Sleepers and Bust segment.
We are.
Really put on a little bit of a show. But, I don't know what New Orleans' ceiling is with Jameis. I mean, depends on what Jameis we're going to get, right? Are we going to get like 30 touchdown, 30 INT Jameis? Or if he could, think about this. If he could limit his interception number to like 20, like, are they a playoff team? Are they like a 7-seed playoff team? Are they a 6-seed?
New Orleans is that team, Joe, that like confuses me a little bit. I'm not entirely... I'm not enamored with them, especially Michael Thomas is going to miss some time. But I will say this about Jameis. I forgot how nice Jameis's deep ball is. For a guy,
reason he was the number 1 overall pick a couple of years ago.
He has a fucking cannon. And it's funny because we haven't seen him in years. But again, I do feel like they need to change the offense around him, right? So like it can't be just this willy-nilly, sling the ball all over the place kind of offense. He needs to understand checkdowns. He needs to understand the short routes. He needs to not force balls downfield when he shouldn't. That's his biggest problem. Granted, he had a lot of big guys over in Tampa forcing the ball, Mike Evans, Godwin, whatever, and they were making plays. Those are big receivers getting nice separation. Sometimes they didn't, and he threw a nice ball. But in New Orleans, the room for error, I feel like, is a little slim because you're not really playing with 2 all-pro.
I'm with you.
Pro Bowl level wide receivers.
Your best player on the offense is a running back.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. He needs to learn the check down. Understand where Alvin Kamara is at all times on the field. If you're a Jameis Winston, he is your first option every single time.
Especially with Michael Thomas out for 6 weeks.
Exactly. Where's Kamara? Is
Right.
Kamara lining up wide? Kamara lining up on the side of me, behind me, wherever.
Which is why I'm so high on him in fantasy. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, you love Kamara.
So I wanted to take the bus, and I know it seems like every week we do this, but I mean, I have to because this is my opportunity to get things off my chest.
Before you get there, Joe, I just want to say something really funny to you.
Sure.
So I went back and I listened to the podcast trailer.
Right.
For some reason, I was just on the page and I was just, screw it, I'm just going to listen to it. You talk about how every week there's going to be a Jaguar segment. And literally every week there's a Jaguar segment. So continue with your Jaguar segment.
I just want to... I have a big problem with, like, I guess NFL Twitter as a whole.
NFL Twitter is terrible, Joe.
So, can we pump the brakes on the Trevor Lawrence is a bust real quick? Like, I just want to break this down for a couple people really quick, okay? Monday night was not good. Right, from an offensive perspective. Right, I'll be the first one to tell you. He was missing 3 of his 5 offensive linemen. The Saints, unlike the Green Bay Packers, who Zach Wilson faced earlier in the weekend, played their number 1 defense for the first few series of that game. Mm-hmm. Okay? So naturally, the Saints, who have a top 10 defense, if anyone forgot, they have a top 10 defense. Was under pressure all night and made the most of what he could do. I'm going to tell you guys something about the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were 1-15 last year. Let's not forget that, okay? 2 things about that team. 1, their offensive line is not very good. We got proof of that. 2, their wide receivers are slow, especially without DJ Chark, who did not play. So they lack getting separation. Lawrence is going to make the best. Lawrence is going to have a Andrew Luck type effect on the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are going to win games solely because he is the starting quarterback. Not because their talent is good. But this whole notion that Zach Wilson is a better quarterback prospect than Trevor Lawrence is asinine. And I'm not downplaying Zach Wilson. I think the kid may be a fine quarterback. But because he threw 2 touchdowns against the second string Packer defense in a preseason game, we're all of a sudden anointing him as the next coming of Jesus Christ? No. Stop. You're fucking embarrassing yourself. And I hate cursing on this podcast, but you're embarrassing yourself. Stop it. If you watch 5 minutes of Trevor Lawrence in that Saints game on Monday night, you see the type of quarterback he is. The way he throws the football is awesome. And he is a once-in-a-generation talent quarterback. Is he going to throw for 40 touchdowns and throw for 5,000 yards as a rookie? No, he's not. Because he's on a team that was 1-15 last year. And is Urban Meyer in over his head a little bit? Maybe. But you know what? He's learning on the curve. Okay, he's learning that he's not running a college campus.
Not to cut you off, Joe, I just want to say something about the Jaguars really quick. A couple of things I noticed. I think people are also not realizing how bad that offensive line is.
It's bad.
It's
not good.
I'll say this: that's one of the bigger concerns for me going into the season for the Jaguars. Is
it's a Joe Burrow scary type of feel.
I didn't want to say it, but yes, it is a Joe Burrow scary type of feel, and people have to realize Lawrence is getting rid of the ball very quickly.
Yes,
because he's
got speed. Did
yes.
anyone not see the third down play where he ran out and ran for a first down?
If he does not get rid of the ball quickly and make quick decisions on the fly, he's going to get killed back there.
Yeah, I know.
Another thing I've noticed about the Jaguars throughout the preseason, because I've been paying close attention, the play calling has left little to be desired.
Darrell Bevel should, if he's not getting stroked by his wife, then he needs to be, because that play calling is horrific.
It's not great.
And I don't know if it's like he's doing it on purpose to not show the teams what they're going to use. But like,
that's like such an old adage, though. Like,
it is an old adage, and it's like, I'm sorry, the days of running to set up the pass are gone. We need to pass to either set up the run or, I don't know, this novel idea, pass to set up the pass. We spoke about Brian Dable in the Bills a couple episodes ago where we were going over Josh Allen in our fantasy thing where we literally said, oh, Brian Dable says, well, yeah, the run's not working, but the pass is, so we're just going to keep passing. Why is that not a novel idea to everybody else in the league? If something's working, keep doing it. There's this whole narrative that we need to have a balanced attack. Why? If the defense you're facing can't stop one thing, but clearly could stop the other, why would you go back and do the other thing?
Joe, that is like the most... See,
it's ego, John. It's all it is. It's coaching ego is what it is.
It is coaching ego. It's thinking that you're smarter than the other coach and you're smarter than the defensive coordinator and that you're going to get over on them by doing some weird... You're trying to play 4D chess. And I said that before about the Raiders, and that's what a lot of coaches do now is they try to play 4D chess. Everybody seems to think they're Bill Belichick. Everybody seems to think that they're fucking Matt LaFleur. Everybody seems to think that they're Kyle Shanahan.
Listen, I don't...
You don't have to run a crazy offense.
No. Well, I don't want to... I'm just going to... It's the preseason... So everyone just pump your brakes a little bit, okay? Nothing is set in stone yet. And I should remind you that both Jimmy Johnson's Cowboys and Peyton Manning in his rookie season went 1-15. And look at how those two things turned out. Calm your tits and relax before we start calling people busts and whatever. I'm done.
Is that the end of the training camp?
Training camp report. The bus is parked back in Staten Island. And we are going to take a small break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do a quick segment on sleepers and busts before we get to our mock draft. Stick with us.
Hey y'all, Spencer Blinn, the producer for Perfect Spiral Podcast, and you're listening to my band Hollow Choir's new song, What You Want. Available now on Spotify. What you want?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on segment 2 of Perfect Spiral, episode number 27, and the last episode of our fantasy football season.
Wow.
John.
Joe.
Busts and sleepers. Now we're doing deep sleepers. Deep. So I want like rank guys 50 and below.
Wow.
All right. Okay. So here's how I want to do this. I want to do one sleeper for each sleeper and bust. One guy from each position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end.
Wow. Okay.
Okay?
All right.
One sleeper and one bust from each position.
All right.
Okay? Let's start with the QBs.
Okay. So I am going to give you my.
Give me your sleeper, and I'll give you my bust, and then we'll switch.
All right. So my sleeper is actually an interesting one, and
You know what? Actually, just to not confuse the fans, let's both do sleepers, and we'll both do busts.
okay. All right. So my first sleeper, very interesting. I kind of actually wish we parked the bus there, but it's okay. I forgot until just now.
Oh, okay.
One of my sleepers is Mac Jones.
Okay. You love Mac.
I love Mac Jones, and I will say this about Mac Jones. I'm gonna make it brief. Mac Jones has looked electric in the preseason. He is. I don't want to like go crazy over preseason games, Joe. I don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, I do think that we saw a lot from him in the preseason. Getting rid of the ball quickly, understanding his reads properly, very good pocket movement, very good shoulder movement. I'm a big shoulder movement guy in the pocket. I love that. He looks fantastic. And honestly, if you're in we're doing redrafts, right? Like redraft sleepers?
Redraft, yes.
Okay. Listen, I like him this year. Stash him. New England has a very favorable schedule. Very solid schedule. You also have to remember that they are playing in a interesting division, to say the least.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think the division itself is up for grabs. I think second place is up for grabs.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like you're playing 2 games against the Jets every year. You're playing 2 games against Miami every year. I don't know if Miami's defense is... I think they're good. I don't think they're as good as they were last year.
All 4 of those games are winnable games.
Of course. And, I mean, that's 4 games in your fantasy season. So, if you are... And they play Houston. I mean, we're saying 5 games. So, I like Mac Jones as a sleeper quarterback. Who's your sleeper?
My sleeper is somebody we already spoke about.
Oh.
Jameis.
Nice. Okay.
I think... I was going to say somebody else, but I feel like I would have really been trying to push way too hard for that. Mm-hmm. Jameis has an Listen, we all know Jameis' ability.
Of course.
Right? And I think the scare with Jameis was that not only will he start, but if he starts, is he going to be playing the whole game? Because there's this whole thing that they're going to use like a dual quarterback system. I don't think they're going to... Based off what I've seen from Taysom Hill, he's not an NFL caliber starting quarterback. He's just not.
He's not.
He's a gadget player, and he's good at it, right? He should embrace that role. Because guys like that will always have a place on a team.
For better or worse,
You could throw, you could run, you could catch, you play on special teams. You're like a Swiss Army knife. You're not great at anything, but you're good at a lot of things, and you could help a team like that. Jameis was the former number 1 overall pick, okay? Has talent oozing out of his body. He just hasn't been able to put it all together. John, if this guy can put it together, there's no one better to get it out of him than Sean Payton.
You are correct.
I'm telling you, if this guy were to be able to put it together, he is, hear me now, he is a top 10 fantasy quarterback if he can put it together. If you're sitting there in round 13 or round 14 and you have a quarterback who you like but you don't love, take a shot on Jameis Winston. You don't know what you're going to get. And especially with fantasy, you're going to get points from Jameis. It's going to happen. You're going to get points from Winston. But you run that risk by drafting him that he could either sink or swim. It's one of the two.
It's been like that for his entire
But with
career in
sleepers,
fantasy.
they're going to be like that. They're either going to be sink or swim.
And most of them are stash plays anyway.
Right.
So
Who do you think? Who is your bust?
okay, so my bust, Joe, I'm gonna take a different direction on this. I'm gonna take a team's quarterback room as a bust.
Oh, okay.
Surprise there, right? A little bit.
I
of
like
surprise.
that. Little change.
So I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers.
See, it's funny you said that because I was literally going to say Jimmy G as my sleeper, but then I was like, no, I don't like it.
They look... Jimmy G has not looked good. I mean, Jimmy G never particularly looked good. He was never really anyone's starting quarterback. And Trey Lance, I mean, it's a lot of what I saw when I watched the tape on him. Hits wide open guys in stride, but aside from that, there's not a whole lot going on there. Stay away from that 49ers quarterback room for the love of God. Let them sit on waivers. Dude, don't draft them. There's really not much to say about it. I don't love... So, you know what's crazy is I don't love the wide receiver room for them either. I feel like they have two wide receivers who do the same exact thing.
Ayuk and Samuel.
Yeah, they just do the same thing.
I really like Ayuk though, like a lot.
Well, Ayuk had some big games last year. Samuel just cannot stay on the field. But if they're both on the field at the same time, I mean, they don't have a true number one. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Well, Kittle is your number one, obviously, but I'm talking about as a wideout, who's your number one? And I don't know. I don't like that quarterback room. I'm not crazy about that team. The only people I really like are the running backs. Some of them are okay. I mean, but we could get into that later on. But yeah, I stay away from the San Francisco quarterback room.
I'm gonna take a dive here. I think I'm gonna go balls to the wall with this one.
Wow. Okay.
You know who my quarterback bust is?
Who?
Dak Prescott.
Deep breaths. Why?
Not in the sense that I don't think he's gonna be bad, but I think people are expecting Dak to put up the numbers he put up before he got hurt last year.
Fat chance.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to run the ball way more than everyone thinks they're going to this year. And I don't really know if, like, that was an aberration or if that was actually their offense. You know, like, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper are great receivers. Michael Gallup got a little exposed last year.
A little bit.
So, and there's various reports that Tony Pollard is going to take some snaps from Zeke Elliott, not because Zeke's bad, but because they just want to manage his workload. People forget, it's a 17-game season now, okay? I know it's one extra game, but I'm telling you, that one extra game may mean something, and a lot of these teams are going to want to keep their running back room fresh. So, I don't know. There are guys who are expecting Dak to be the top quarterback in fantasy this year. I don't think that's going to be the case.
I agree with you.
I think that you're going to see him more. If I had to compare him to a guy, kind of put him in the same field as like Ryan Tannehill or Tom Brady, as opposed to putting him in the same field as Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and like Lamar Jackson. So, like, when I say bust, I don't mean bust in the sense where he's going to be bad. I mean bust in the sense, I still think he's a starting caliber fantasy quarterback.
We had him ranked really high.
Yeah, but I think that I think we may be expecting way too much of him.
Yeah.
Personally, especially coming off the injury.
Yeah, he's also not 100%.
So
with that shoulder and then still recovering from the foot. So I agree with you. I think that's like, okay. I like how you clarified that. We don't see him as a bust, but it's just people need to temper their expectations because a lot of people are feeling like we're going to see this guy who's on pace for 6,000 passing yards.
Yeah, I don't think
it's
not going to be the case.
You might see more of old Dak, which isn't bad, but it's just not what you saw last year.
Right. All right, let's move over to the backfield. Let's do busts first.
Ooh, busts. Okay.
Do you want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
I think I could go first.
All right, talk to me, baby.
All right. So my running back bust. Wow. Okay. I'm going to go bold here. I'm going bold here. I don't want to do this to him. Do I want to do this to him? I don't want to.
Anticipation's killing me.
I don't want to go with the easy one. I have an easy bust, but I'm going to go with the other bust, which is a guy that I said I disliked on the running back pod. God damn it! Everyone's going to hate me for this. I'm going Saquon Barkley.
Oh,
my other pick was going to be DeAndre Swift, which I think he's a bona fide bust anyway. Joe, like I said on the running back pod, I'm not in love with Saquon Barkley this year. I don't like the offensive identity of that team. Daniel Jones has looked, I mean, we haven't even seen him really, but all reports is that he kind of looks piss poor. I just, coming off the injury as a running back, it's tough, especially when you are the focal point of that offense. I don't know, man. I don't like it. And again, let's clarify by bust. I just think people are expecting way too much from him. We're talking about a guy that was drafted first overall in a lot of leagues last year.
I know.
And now we're looking at a guy who's by all accounts, the 9th ranked running back in a lot of drafts with a late first, early second round ADP. I'm not entirely crazy about him. It hurt. It's like I'm trying to like think of what. I hate to do this. I just don't want to do this, but it's. I just don't like Saquon. I can't wrap my head around it.
That's fine.
The injury is just, it scares me, Joe.
I hear you.
You're a running back coming back from an injury with still a subpar offensive line.
I hear you.
And you're the focal point.
That's fair. I'm going to go a little deeper.
Ooh, okay.
And I think this guy is getting a lot of hype right now, especially in the past couple of days with a certain trade that happened. My bust is Damian Harris.
Okay.
I can't remember the last time we trusted a New England Patriot running back to be like really good. And I know Damian, especially after the Sony Michel trade, and if you didn't hear it, Sony Michel got traded to the LA Rams for 2 late-round picks the other day. He's getting all first-team reps, but Cam Newton last year showed us that if they're going to be in the goal line situation or goal-to-goal situation, Cam's going to keep that ball majority of the time. Mainly because they didn't have a power running back last year that they may or may not have this year, who may be my sleeper, but I'm not going to say is my
Jesus
sleeper.
Christ.
No, I'm not. Are you going to bring him up? Because if you're not, I'm going to say him now.
No, because my sleeper is somebody else.
Okay. Ramondre Stevenson is going to take carries from Damian Harris. It's only a matter of time. Okay? He's been killing it in the preseason. And I'm telling you, he is LeGarrette Blount light. Ramondre Stevenson is LeGarrette Blount reincarnated.
People forget about LeGarrette Blount.
LeGarrette Blount was a great Patriot in the sense where he scored a ton of points. And he was touchdown dependent.
He had 18 touchdowns one year.
Damian Harris is just a guy that he doesn't scream fantasy to me. And guys are drafting him right now as RB2. And I don't see it. I don't see it.
We're really taking Patriot running backs as RB2s?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's ranked.
Sick.
I'm looking right now. He's currently ranked 25th, which is literally just outside of 12 league team RB2. But, he's very interchangeable with guys. They're saying he's interchangeable with guys like Chase Edmonds, Myles Gaskin, Ronald Jones, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins.
Wow. Okay.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about him. You want my sleeper? Because
Sure.
it just ties right back into this whole thing.
Talk to me.
My sleeper is Sony Michel.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised at that.
Sony Michel, and I put this out on the Twitter. I've been a little more active on the Twitter, everybody. You know when Joe tweets, and you definitely know when I tweet, because my grammar is horrible. Sony Michel was underutilized in New England. This is a common theme with New England running backs, Joe. They are underutilized. They don't have a defined skill set. Sony Michel was a first-round talent, right? He was not the best running back at his school. Nick Chubb was far and away better, but we didn't know that until they got to the NFL. Sony Michel was a highly regarded prospect coming out of Georgia.
I remember, yeah.
And they drafted him with the hopes that he would be their RB1. Now, did he show flashes? He absolutely did. Sony Michel was very good in the playoffs for them. People forget about that. He was very good in the playoffs. Sony Michel is a guy that was always never used properly in New England. Now, he goes to a team like the LA Rams, who lost Cam Akers, who would have been a bona fide top 5 fantasy running back this year. Darrell Henderson, there is still a question mark. We do not know what he is. Who is their other running back on the roster?
Xavier Jones.
Tell me Sony Michel does not slide right in as that RB1 for them.
I think it's interesting that the week before Michel got traded in the preseason game, he saw 4 receiving targets. I don't know if anybody, and he caught 4 passes.
Yeah.
Maybe to show people hey, this guy could catch the ball out of the backfield, which he could have done. He did in college, and then he just disappeared doing that in New England.
Underutilized in New England. This is a guy that's going to a team where Sean McVay knows how to use a player like him.
So what's your expectation? When you say sleeper, what do you mean by like starting every week flex play, or
I would comfortably start him as an RB2.
Really?
I'm comfortable, Joe, comfortably, without question. I think his ceiling is a top 10 running back in fantasy.
Shut the fuck up. You're out of your mind.
How? You're going to a team. Wait, let's talk. Now we got to talk about this. So you're going to a team, right, that has Matthew Stafford.
You just said top 10?
Yes. You're going to a team, Joe, that has Matthew Stafford at the helm. You have Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp on the outside.
Right. Higbee as a tight end.
You cannot load the box on this team. They will make you pay.
I hear you. But you're saying that he's going to fall ahead of guys like, you're saying he possibly could go ahead of guys like Josh Jacobs, Chris Carson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Najee Harris, Miles Sanders, Antonio Gibson, Joe Mixon.
Gibson, no. Harris, no. Everyone else, yes.
Let me compare it to your bust. Do you think he could have a better season than Saquon Barkley?
All I'm going to say is this. I'm dropping heat on this pod right now. Joe just got up. Joe.
My word.
Joe, did we forget what Sean McVay did with Todd Gurley?
My word, John. Making me hot and heavy. God damn.
Did we forget what he did with Todd Gurley?
Wow.
Did we just forget
No.
what he did?
But Todd Gurley was Todd Gurley.
But
Sony Michel is not the talent that Todd Gurley was.
how do we know that, though?
Because he had an opportunity to show it for 3 or 4 seasons.
On a team that is notorious for underutilizing their players.
I listen. I think Sony Michel as a sleeper is sexy. I do. I think it's sexy. I think it's bold. I think it's something that not everyone's talking about. But to say he could be a top 10 running back, that's aggressive, John. That's like That's like Coke on the table, ready to take a sniff. That's right there.
I've made bolder claims.
That's aggressive.
Okay. You know what? But this ties back real quick, and then we can move on from Sony Michel.
Right.
This ties back into my big theme. Mm-hmm. My big theme throughout this entire all this fantasy coverage. What has my big theme been, Joe?
Take guys when you think you can.
Well, yes, but what else? Offensive identity. This team has an offensive identity. There's something there.
Okay.
Listen.
Watch. I'm telling you guys right now, Sony Michel's going to run for 3 touchdowns in week 1. And I'm going to be like, are you kidding?
Like, how did he know this?
Oh, my God.
Just know if he's there in round 8, I'm taking him.
He might very well be. He might very well be.
Nah, someone's gonna listen to this pod and be like, they're gonna take him like really high. Don't do that. When
just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Let him fall to you in like round like 8 or 9. Just don't.
That's great.
Don't go too high on him, okay?
That's so freaking great.
People are gonna get hate mail.
My sleeper is actually somebody who I've been watching a little bit more recently, and I think it's Ty Johnson from the Jets.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that there was this assumption that when Michael Carter got drafted in the beginning of round 4 of this 2021 draft, that he was just simply going to be inserted into the starting role for the Jets. Last year, when the Jets notoriously won those 2 football games to close out the season, Ty Johnson was a central part of those 2 games. And Ty Johnson has shown a lot of promise in the preseason and in practice out of a New York's training camp. I expect Ty Johnson. There's going to be a committee, right? You got LaMichael Pirine and Michael Carter and Ty Johnson, right? And even Josh Adams, but I don't know if Josh Adams is going to make the team. But Ty Johnson has a very good opportunity to get the lion's share of those carries, especially at the beginning of the season. And Ty Johnson could catch the ball out of the backfield. He could run. He runs aggressive. He has an opportunity to make something of himself, especially on a team that is not going to be projected to do a lot. He's not going to have pressure to do a lot. The offensive line is better than it ever was in Sam's 3 years he was there.
100%.
They have better weapons on the outside than they've had in the past 3 seasons.
Corey Davis looked great.
With Corey Davis and Denzel Mims and Elijah Moore and Jamison Crowder still there. You know, Tyler Kroft has sneakily had a good preseason at the tight end position for the Jets. So I think Ty Johnson is a guy Ty Johnson's a guy you're going to be able to draft very, very late. And you may not start him in the first couple of weeks, but you're going to look at your bench and you're going to be like, holy crap, Ty Johnson got me 13 points off the bench Yeah, Ty Johnson got you 13 points off the bench. Let me insert him into my flex.
It's a good play.
Not a bad option.
Can I just say something really quick before we move on from the running back?
Sure.
If you're a team that's in a keeper league, do yourself a favor and make sure. I want to drop a little strategy real quick because that's to do with running backs.
Sure.
If you are in a keeper league and you are in the, let's say, 12th or 13th round and your team is filled out,
Say it, baby. Talk to me.
do yourself a favor and draft Travis Etienne
What about Cam Akers?
or Cam Akers. Do not forget about these guys. A lot of people in your league will forget about these guys. And I'm sure you just heard me hit the table when I said that. Wow, I'm getting wild.
It was already in my head, honestly.
Yeah.
For our draft, it was already in my head. It's in my head.
Yeah, a lot of guys in your league, a lot of other team managers are gonna forget that these guys are still on the table.
Absolutely.
Why? Because they are too concerned with filling out their bench. Listen, take a flyer on a guy. Take a flyer.
If you
on
have
Cam
IR
Akers.
spots in your league and you're in a keeper league, you put him right there.
Yeah.
Just stash him because you know what you're going to be able to do when the season's over. You're going to be able to pick up a guy off free agency list. Boom.
Exactly. That's smart. That is smart fantasy football management skills right there.
101.
Joe. 101. Boom. We just dropped knowledge on you. Okay. Are we?
Wide receivers and tight ends, and we're done.
Gotcha. Okay. So I got my wide receiver sleeper.
Sleeper, wide receiver. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Talk to me.
I just mentioned him like for a quick second. If anybody heard, I'm going Corey Davis.
Okay.
Corey Davis has looked fantastic in the preseason. I think he had 4 receptions for about 62 yards last game.
Seems to be Zach Wilson's favorite target.
Yeah.
Not my favorite player.
Not listen. Corey Davis has notoriously been a fantasy bust. Right? We're talking about a guy who was drafted 7th overall that never lived up to his potential in Tennessee. Only lived up to his potential in his final year because he knew he was up for a contract. I mean, we see this all the time with contract players. But you already see him building a rapport with Zach Wilson, like you just said.
Yep.
He is the number 1 receiver there. It is no question. Whether you like him as the number 1 receiver or not, he is the number 1 receiver. I will say this. You could get him very late. What's his average ADP there? Does it tell you?
I don't see ADP. I just have ranking here. And he is ranked number 49 on the wide receiver list.
Wow. Okay. And I actually have the wide receivers here. He is ranked 43 on this wide receiver list that I have here. He's ADP is in the 10th round.
That's wild.
That is a fantastic value pick right there.
Absolutely. I think he's a weekly flex play.
Yeah.
Week
100%. And if you're in a three wide receiver league, he's a solid 3rd wide receiver option.
Absolutely.
100%. So that's my wide receiver sleeper.
I have 2.
Whoa. I didn't know we could have 2.
Sorry.
Joe just changed the rules.
I feel like we need to mention Marquez Callaway 100%.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that goes without saying.
I think Callaway is a guy, especially with Michael Thomas out, and you saw the rapport he has with Jameis Winston. Simply put, you want Marquez Callaway on your team, at the very least, just to see if he could produce in the regular season what he did in the preseason. Seems to have a nice rapport. Traquan Smith is hurt. He's not playing. Michael Thomas is hurt. He's not playing. The Saints do not have tight ends. Jameis has to throw the ball to somebody besides Alvin Kamara. Marquez Callaway is your guy.
I hope everybody was just listening to that because that was fantastic.
Thank you. My actual sleeper is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You did this the other day, too.
And I'm going to do it again because he is going to be a top 25 receiver by the end of the year. Wow. Detroit Lions. He is going to be the Lions' next Kenny Golladay.
You know what's crazy, Joe? It's funny you say that. They have a knack for drafting these big body, go up and get it, big hands wide receivers that nobody's even thinking about.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, book it. Jared Goff is going to use him as one of his favorite guys this season. It's going to happen.
You know what? Really quick before we move on from this. I'm getting all the fantasy football knowledge out right now.
Talk to me, man. That's why we're here.
Guys, if you are drafting and you are looking at teams, all right, don't just only chase the players on the good teams. Just like Joe said, we spoke about 2 sleepers that are on teams that are going to be probably kind of bad. Corey Davis and Amon-Ra St. Brown on the Lions. These quarterbacks, remember this, these quarterbacks need to throw the ball to somebody like Joe said. They need to throw the ball to somebody. Somebody will become the number 1. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a guy you can get very late, and you already know that he's going to get his targets. You already know.
Absolutely.
And there's question marks in the backfield there too. So,
Do you have any busts?
any busts at the wide receiver position? I mean, I don't want to say Michael Thomas. I think that's an easy one.
Kenny Galladay's pretty easy too.
Kenny Galladay's an easy one.
I have one. I'm looking at the list right now. I have two actually.
All right, I'm going to go with another easy one, but I think that this is a guy that a lot of people are always very high on. Actually, you know what? Okay. No, I'm going to do it. I didn't want to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Who?
Okay. I'm doing another team room thing.
Okay.
I'm going with the Miami Dolphins wide receiving room.
Ooh, interesting. So no Jalen Waddle, no Will Fuller.
No Jalen Waddle, no Will
Devontae
Fuller,
Parker.
no Devontae Parker. I do not like what I saw out of Tua in the preseason. Very Teddy Bridgewater-esque performance.
You were high on him too.
I was very high on him, but I have not seen that jump yet, Joe. And I was expecting a little bit of a jump. I have not seen that jump. I saw a guy who was very cautious with the ball, a guy who was still not very mobile. And listen, he's gonna try to spread the ball around. We're talking about a guy that might throw like 25 passes a game. That's scary. And you know what? If I'm looking at a guy like Will Fuller who relies on the deep ball and always hurt, I'm not drafting him. Devontae Parker turned into a little bit of a possession receiver last year, and I wasn't entirely crazy with his performance a lot. And then Jalen Waddle is another deep threat receiver, and Tua does not particularly throw the ball deep. No. So this is a very weird mix of wide receivers and quarterback in that situation. So I will stay away from that entire Miami Dolphins wide receiver room.
Interesting. I am going to go to one. I was going to say DJ Moore.
That's not a bad one.
On Carolina. Currently ranked 16th. High-end wide receiver too. For the record, I don't like him. I don't think he's going to have a great season. People always seem to put DJ Moore higher than he always produces, and I don't know why. So I'm going to stay away from him. But the guy that I'm going to say is a bust is Jamar Chase.
Joe, I was thinking that too, and I didn't want to go there, but
I think there's currently a lot of things stacked against this kid, especially with the new domestic violence thing that came out against him the other day.
Wait, that was real?
Yeah.
It's a tough look.
And he dropped 3 passes in preseason. I just think he may be a little overwhelmed. And Burrow clearly... Let's not forget, Jamar Chase didn't play a game in 2020.
So he's still knocking off the roster.
Did not play a game in 2020. T. Higgins is in his second season. Tyler Boyd's a veteran. You know my love for Joe Mixon, and he's going to catch passes there this season. People are expecting a lot out of Jamar Chase. Very similar to like a Dak Prescott type, but even worse, pump the brakes.
Where do they have him ranked?
28.
Wow.
Higher than guys like Ayuk, T. Higgins, Laviska Shenault, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy.
Oof, Laviska looked fantastic.
Love him, bro.
Oh my God, he looked fantastic.
Love him.
I agree with you, Joe. I was gonna say Jamar Chase because you know what's funny is I never like the wide receiver that's drafted super high in the draft. I mean, and we had a little bit of a scoop on this, but I didn't like oh my God, total side note, Penny Sewell looked terrible.
I haven't even been paying attention to.
Oh my God, he was getting beat off the snap. Like he could, and he just couldn't get his hands out.
Really?
He was getting murdered.
Detroit.
Murdered. On Twitter, they were killing him. Anyway, I don't want to get too much to Penny Sewell. That's my bust offensive lineman for fantasy. But
tight end?
Well, I was going to finish with Jamar Chase.
Oh, okay. Talk to me.
I think, like you said, there's a lot of expectation on him. Guy that was drafted incredibly high in the draft. I mean, granted, he was the best wide receiver in the draft at the time, but yeah, I'm not. I agree with you. I think there's a little bit of people need to pump the brakes on him. People need to pump the brakes on rookie wide receivers. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Let's quickly do tight ends.
Okay.
And let's do a sleeper. I'll do a sleeper. You do a bust because tight ends are smaller.
Yeah, you got it.
My sleeper is Cole Kmet from Chicago. Guy that I think is not going to start the season as the tight end 1, but I think will rise as quickly as Justin Fields rises in that offense. So if little tidbit, if you find yourself feeling a little dangerous in drafting Justin Fields, I guarantee you that in the last round of your draft, you could also draft Cole Kmet. And when inevitably Justin Fields starts, just feel a little sexy and put Cole Kmet as your starting tight end with Justin Fields and just see what happens.
It's a good pick, Joe.
I'm just going to drop the mic right there.
You know what's funny, though? I think Troutman would have probably been one of your sleepers, but he did get hurt.
I know he did get hurt, yeah.
That was tough to see.
That was.
So my bust is actually a guy that rose to fame last year that I feel like might be a little overdrafted this year.
Tunyon.
Robert Tunyon. He is a bona fide regression candidate. We spoke about this last week.
Yep.
Heavily touchdown dependent last year, but it's funny because we were talking about the Green Bay Packers as a whole as a regression candidate as far as fantasy production goes. So, listen, stay away from Robert Tunyon. I feel like with tight ends in Green Bay, it's always lightning in a bottle. If you caught lightning in a bottle with him last year, that's good. Leave it in last year. Leave the
lightning in the bottle.
Leave the lightning in a bottle in 2020. You could get guys. Listen, if I'm on the board and there's other tight ends available, they have him ahead of guys like, let me just say this on my list. So Robert Tunyon is being drafted. He's the 10th ranked tight end.
I have him as 9.
Yeah, he's up there. He's ahead of guys like Higbee, Gesicki, who also could have been a sleeper candidate. Jonnu Smith, Irv Smith, another sleeper candidate for anybody paying attention. Evan Ingram, Troutman, Hunter Henry, and Cole Kmet. Listen, there's a bunch of guys that I just said that I'd rather have over Robert Tunyon. So, Robert Tunyon's my boss.
Wow. Well, there you have it, folks. That was a good seg, John. I like that seg.
It was. We blew through that one.
We did. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is mock drafting time, folks. So get your pens and papers out and listen to what we got to say. We'll be right back on Perfect Spiral. All right, ladies and germs, we are back here for segment number 3 and probably the most anticipated segment for this year. Not this year. This fantasy football episode.
Oh, I'm ready.
We're going to do a mock draft, a live mock draft of a redraft league. And so here's how it's going to go. John and I are going to do the first 6 rounds of the draft of a 12-team redraft. And we're going to do it using standard default settings. And that means, and I'm going to tell you how we're going to do it in a second, John.
Okay.
That means we're going to do 4-point passing touchdowns for quarterbacks, PPR for running backs and receivers, PPR for tight ends, the whole 9. Regular default settings, right? So just so you're aware, John, because I know in our league specifically, quarterbacks get 6 points for passing touchdowns because that's the way that it should be. That's a totally different discussion.
Yeah, mine in my league it's set to 4.
Yeah, because your league is shit. That's why.
Whoa! I can't believe you just said that.
When I get pick number 14 of 14, it's shit.
You really did. That was bad.
Horrible.
I definitely, like, in the inside, I laughed because I'm like, yes, I'm not the last pick again this year. All right, so, I mean, should I use my leagues?
No, your league is 14 teams, so we can't use yours.
Oh, we can't. Okay.
So we're going to use mine.
Gotcha. All right.
I'm going to send you the invite right now.
Ooh. This is fantastic. By the way, should we tell everybody what's
talk? Yeah, tell them.
So we use the Sleeper platform. We used to use Yahoo. I've used Yahoo. I've used ESPN. I've used CBS. CBS is fucking awful. If you use CBS, you're stuck in a stone age. Sleeper is an absolutely fantastic app. And listen, this Sleeper, if you want, sponsor us. We moved all of our leagues there. It is the all-encompassing app. If you ever keep a league, it keeps track of everything. Joe doesn't need to make spreadsheets anymore. You sent me the invite? I just got it. Okay. There's a league chat in the actual app itself. It's absolutely fantastic. Everyone should do themselves a favor and really check out the Sleeper platform. Okay. I am in on the mock draft.
You're in.
Open in Sleeper. Okay. Join draft.
So obviously you have to pick one spot, but I'm gonna just manually pick. So you know how to do it?
Yeah.
So you can manually. So like, did you go in?
Yeah. You want me to claim the first pick?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just claim any pick you want. Doesn't make a
Okay.
difference.
I joined the draft.
So what you're going to do is I'm going to start it, and then when you start it, you just click on the box, and then you're going to click manually set player for each one that we do, even though you're only picking in that one spot.
All right, nice.
All right, so here we go. We're going to do our mock draft 2021 perfect spiral. Let's roll.
Wait, Joe, before we go there,
Oh.
time out for a second. I want to tell the listeners about something.
Sure.
This is a momentous occasion.
Oh, really?
For the last few years, me and Joe have gotten together. We'd get together one day, and we do like a fantasy football blowout together. We go. Remember, I'd come over and we go over the rankings. We do a quick mock. We do all that. So now we have the podcast. Honestly, it's really a momentous occasion. All right, I'm ready. First pick. All right, let's go.
Who are you taking in a PPR with the first overall pick, John?
So, as much as I love Zeke as the number 1 overall ranked player, I'm not going to get cute, and I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey as number 1.
I think that's a smart decision.
I'm not going to get cute.
So Christian McCaffrey, fair. That's fine. Number 2 overall pick. Sticking with the trend, I think what I'm going to do, I'm taking Dalvin Cook.
Oh, good pick. Okay.
I'm taking Dalvin Cook. PPR, got to take Dalvin.
Wait, hold on a second, Joe. How did you do that just now?
You got to click on the box,
Okay.
and you got to click manually set player.
Where is it? Where does it say?
So, click. Here, watch
Show
me.
me.
Look, ready? So you're
Okay.
going to do this,
All right.
and then you click manually
Oh, okay.
and then you just click draft on the guy you want to pick.
Gotcha.
See? We're learning here, folks. So,
Oh, mine doesn't do that.
it doesn't.
No.
So why don't you tell me who you want then, and I'll do
Okay, you do. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, see, that's why I knew something was up. Okay, so
Pick number 3.
oh man, this is tough. I think it's just gonna fall like this, so I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna take Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara. Okay,
Yeah, I
fair
think
enough.
the board falls this way.
Right.
Derrick Henry was a guy I considered at 3, but
Well, it's okay because Derrick Henry's going to go at 4.
okay.
So Derrick Henry's going to go at 4. And now pick number 5. So 1 through 4 so far in a PPR league: Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and Derrick Henry.
Number 5, I'm taking Ezekiel Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott going number 5. Okay. All right. Let me put him in. Oh, whoops, I took the wrong guy. Number 6. Interesting. I'm going to take. So this is interesting. So all the guys, like, I think the surefire 5 are gone.
Yeah.
Right? So now you've become into a position of, if you're in this spot and you're in a redraft league and it falls like this, I think what you want here is you're looking. Listen, you can't win your draft in the first round, but you could lose your draft in the first round. Let's make that very, very clear. And I think if you're sitting there and you're drafting a guy like, if you're thinking about a guy like Saquon Barkley, who John spoke about at length, how he's got a little bit of a fear on him, or a guy like Jonathan Taylor, who you really don't, you think he's going to be very good, but he's more, especially like him and Nick Chubb, they're both really non-PPR heavy because they don't really catch the ball out of the backfield. Still RB1s, 100%.
Yeah.
But that being said, I am going to change course here, and I'm going to take Davante Adams at number 6.
Okay, so at number 7, I feel like you're in a good spot here. I would take Saquon Barkley at 7.
So 7, you take Barkley.
7, I take Barkley.
7, you take Barkley.
Because he falls 2 spots farther than his actual position. When I'm paying attention to that, so.
All right, so that's fine. So Barkley goes. I'm going to then at 8. So now here at 8, what I'm starting to do, right? If I'm at 8, I'm almost starting to panic a little bit because I see the running backs going off the board here.
There is a little bit of a panic, and now you've reached the.
I think you've reached the second tier of running backs now, and I think the best play here is, call me crazy, I think the best play here is Aaron Jones.
Joe, I don't like that pick.
Sorry. That's who I'm taking.
Wow. Aaron Jones at number 8. Over guys like Nick Chubb. Over Austin Eckler. Aaron Boone's about to get thrown out of this game.
I know. Well, his team struck out 4 times in a row, so.
All right. So, at number 9. Number 9's an interesting spot here.
Number 9, guys available. Top guys available are guys like Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill, Austin Eckler, Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs.
I'm going Nick Chubb here in this spot.
You are going to go
I'm going to go Nick Chubb. I feel like, because listen, there is the situation is that you're getting into that second tier running backs and you don't want to miss out, right? Because if you're coming back on the wraparound there.
Well, okay, so this is interesting because you're coming back on the wraparound here, but I'm looking at different guys. And at 10, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm not even going to tell you who I'm going to pick. I'm just going to let you see it.
Joe picked Travis Kelce at number 10. Why? Explain your logic.
Why? He is, after Devontae Adams, to me, he is the best number 1 receiver in football.
That's fair. I agree.
Best. And he's at a premium position where there's not a lot of guys who are on that level.
All right, at number 11, I'm doing it. I'm going Austin Eckler at number 11.
Yeah, you are.
I don't think it's even a reach. I think he could. You're going to see him go in the first round. So
now we're at 12. So we're on the turn here of 12 and 13.
Can we just also say that Jonathan Taylor is in an absolute free fall?
And if free fall is going to end here, I think it's going to end.
Okay.
But because you have him, guys like Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins available. See, now, like, if you're picking 12th, let's just argue for a minute, right? Let's just argue for a minute. You go wide receiver, right? Because you could get 2 studs. Like, you could draft Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs, and you could be set at receiver. But then
you're out at running back.
You're gone at running back.
Yeah, you're gone.
You're absolutely screwed. So, I think the play here is Jonathan Taylor, in no particular order. It doesn't have to be Taylor. And then, I know it's your pick, but like, it's got to be Tyreek Hill or Stephon Diggs, right?
It's actually not.
It's not. Who is it?
So you know what I like on this?
Talk to me.
So if I was in the 12th spot, I probably would have taken Najee Harris.
Okay.
And then on the wraparound, I'm doing a little bit of a little bit of reach action.
Well, you're in 12, so you're in a spot where you may need to be a little reach action. But okay, so after Taylor, you're still taking a running back. So what are you doing?
I'm going to take Najee Harris here.
You are?
Yeah, I'm going to take Najee Harris here. But who I would have taken had Najee Harris been taken 12, I would have taken Antonio Gibson at 13.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So Najee Harris goes here at 18. He's ranked 18. Goes here at 13. So let's really quick. Let's recap the first round. So in order of 1 to 12, we go McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara, Henry, Elliott, Devontae Adams, Saquon Barkley, Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Travis Kelce, Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor. And then starting round 2 is Najee Harris. So now, the second pick of the second round, the first pick was Austin Eckler, and I am now going to take Tyreek Hill with that next pick. So now I have Austin Eckler and Tyreek Hill as my RB1 and wide receiver 1. All right, very fast team there.
Very fast. So I already know this pick. I am going to go. You know what I like here, Joe? I'm going to balk a trend here. I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes in this spot.
Whoa. So the team that drafts Travis Kelce goes Mahomes in round 2. You're going for the connection.
Which is...
Passing on a running back in round 1 and round 2. There's always that one guy.
Always that one guy.
Who always passes on a running back in the first 2 rounds.
And you know what's funny is like that team truthfully, like, that team's going to pay. Because you're going to miss out on everybody. I mean, you're going into the...
Well, let's see how it shakes out.
Let's see how
it shakes out, okay?
Okay.
So, Nick Chubb here, I think this pick's very easy, personally. It's Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
That pick's very, very easy.
Love that one, too.
Nick Chubb and Stephon Diggs?
Yeah.
All day, baby. Aaron Jones and...
This is another easy pick for me. I'm going Calvin Ridley here.
Really? Okay.
We're moving a little bit now.
We are moving. All right. First, I think double dip at running back.
Okay.
So they picked Barkley first. And I think because of the limitations Barkley may have in the first couple of weeks, you want a guy who you know is going to get a lot of touches. I'm going to take Antonio Gibson here.
Nice. Good pick.
I'm going to take Antonio Gibson.
Antonio Gibson is going to light it up this year.
So, okay. So now we got Devontae Adams, wide receiver 1. Who you taking here?
Okay. I'm seeing how this board is shaking out, and I have a plan.
For what team? You're drafting for 6 of the 12 teams.
I have a plan for this team.
It's pretty funny.
I'm going George Kittle here.
Whoa. Wow. So Devontae Adams and George Kittle. Interesting. All right. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go D-Hop to pair with Zeke Elliott.
Okay.
The all-veteran team.
All right.
Love that. Derrick Henry. Who are you pairing with Derrick Henry?
So you know what's funny is I would like A.J. Brown, but I'm not double dipping on the same offense.
Right.
In that respect, I don't think Tennessee's one of those teams that you can do that with.
See, I think it's interesting. In this spot, you want to pair Henry with a pass-catching running back, guy who can catch the ball out of backfield. Because Henry's just going to run for a bunch of yards. He's not going to catch a lot of passes. He's not going to catch passes. He's going to run for a ton of yards. But I don't know if that guy exists right here, right now.
Okay.
There's got one guy I would take.
As much as I don't like him, I'm going to take him here only because I feel like he's one of the best running backs available. I'm going to go Joe Mixon here.
There you go. That's what I was going to say.
I think that's a double.
Henry and Mixon is a very good combo.
It's not bad.
Very good combo.
I can't say it's terrible, but I don't, you know.
All right, Alvin Kamara, round 2. Okay. I see what's going on. I'm taking Darren Waller.
Fuck.
Sniped you?
It's not that you sniped me, but I kind of wanted to see him go on the wrap there.
You going to take him with Kittle and make the flex?
No.
Try to do the double tight end?
No. I was going to with the first team with McCaffrey because there's a nice little thing that could have happened there.
Okay.
So
sorry to burst your bubble.
No,
there.
it's okay. So I am going to take
with Dalvin Cook. Pair with Dalvin Cook.
I think this is going to be another reach situation here.
So now, just so everybody's aware, if you're paying attention at home, the running backs, it's pick number round 2, pick 11. And the running backs that we're at currently, the best running back available is J.K. Dobbins.
You're bone dry now.
Right. You're starting to
very
get dry.
bone dry.
You got guys like Miles Sanders, Chris Carson, Josh Jacobs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift, guys who are all RB2s, right? James Robinson, David Montgomery, Darrell Henderson, stuff like that. So if you don't, there are 2 teams that have not drafted a running back yet, and their teams are Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and Devontae Adams and George Kittle. So let's see. I'm curious to see where those teams end up.
All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of a reach here, and I'm going to take Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin. Interesting. Okay. So you're taking him over A.J. Brown. You're taking him over DK Metcalf. You're taking him over Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
Why?
I feel like he's having a fantastic year. I mean, we spoke about the idea of Jefferson being a slight regression candidate because we're unsure. And you know what's funny? I was listening to another pod today, and they brought up a really good point. Kirk Cousins is a 100% liability on the team. He could miss weeks with these new rules in place. So I'm a little scared with Justin Jefferson there.
Well, okay, in this spot, I'm going to actually. I think I'm gonna take AJ Brown.
Okay.
To pair with McCaffrey, and then, as much as I want to take Jefferson in this spot, I think the best thing to do is because if you're in this pick and you don't take a running back in this spot, you're slaughtered on the way back.
Yeah.
You're going to get slaughtered. So I'm going to take Josh Jacobs at the beginning of the third round here.
Interesting.
So my two running backs here for this team are McCaffrey and Josh Jacobs, with A.J. Brown being my wide receiver 1. That's not bad. For the number 1 pick, that's not bad. It's really not.
So I already have my pick ready.
Okay.
I'm going Keenan Allen here in this spot.
So you have Dalvin Cook, Keenan Allen, and Terry McLaurin as your 2 wide receivers. Okay. So we have Alvin Kamara, Darren Waller in the next team. I think this is where the Justin Jefferson, not Justin Jefferson. I think this is where the DK Metcalf fall ends.
Okay.
So I'm going to take DK here in the third. Very good value pick in the third round for DK Metcalf here. So DK Metcalf, Darren Waller, Alvin Kamara on this route. Now you're picking for a team that has Joe Mixon and Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I'm going Justin Jefferson here. I feel like the slide ends.
Okay, so you're going Justin Jefferson. Honestly, if you take a running back in round 1 and round 2, and Justin Jefferson's your wide receiver 1, that's not terrible at all.
Not bad at all. No.
So let's go to team 5, which is Zeke and DeAndre Hopkins so far.
Solid team.
I am going to... Oh, my goodness.
This is a weird spot to be in now. Now it's getting dicey. And it's funny, round 3 just got dicey.
Wow. Who's on my team? Zeke
And Hopkins.
I'm curious to see how far one player falls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Allen Robinson here in this pick.
Okay, not bad.
My 2 receivers are going to be DeAndre Hopkins and Allen Robinson. And I have my 2 receivers for this squad.
Okay.
So you're now taking a team who did not draft a running back yet. Devontae Adams and George Kittle.
Okay, so I'm going to go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this spot.
So Clyde Edwards-Helaire is your RB1 on this team.
Don't love it, but
Don't love it.
he's the best available, I feel like, out of everybody.
And now, subsequently, we have a team who's taken 2 running backs, Barkley and Antonio Gibson. So now it's interesting, right? So the best receiver available according to Sleeper is Mike Evans. You also have Julio Jones, you have Amari Cooper, you have Chris Godwin, you have CeeDee Lamb, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods as the next best guys. Out of all those guys, I think I'm taking Julio with the name. Just because of the name, I think Julio goes before Evans.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, interesting spot here again. I love that we're doing this off the cuff, so you could just hear us actually
absolutely
think this through. All right, so Aaron Jones and Calvin Ridley are already on this team.
Yeah.
Your running back options are slim.
I know.
I'm going to go with a guy I don't like very much.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Miles Sanders here.
Miles Sanders in RB2 is not bad, though, John.
It's not. There's a lot of promise with him. Very Le'Veon Bell-esque, possibly. But, yeah, I mean, he's the best available. I like him over Dobbins. I like him over Swift. I like him over Carson. I don't like him over Montgomery, but that's fine.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so we're at pick number round 3, pick 9. Nick Chubb and Stephon Diggs on this team. See, this is a spot where I'm going to take a guy who I think is going to catch a decent amount of passes. See, this is you might laugh at me with this pick.
Shoot.
I'm going to do something interesting here. I'm going to draft Kareem Hunt as my RB2.
Joe, that's not a bad play. We were saying how you could have them both in the same lineup.
My RB1 is Nick Chubb. My RB2 is Kareem Hunt.
I like it.
And my Stephon Diggs is my wide receiver 1. And now we come to a team, the Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes team without a running back, goes with which guy is their first running back. I know who I would take.
See, this is the problem with double dipping on and reaching on Mahomes. I'm glad I did that because now it shows a little bit of a conundrum that a team could be in here, which is why you don't typically draft a quarterback this early. Because now you missed out on tier 1, tier 2, and now you're in mid-tier 3 of running back.
Okay.
I am going to go Montgomery here. I like Montgomery a lot, but I'm not crazy about this team so far.
Okay. Austin Eckler, Tyreek Hill, and Mike Evans. Definitely.
Okay. All right, let me take this wrap because I already have the plan. I thought about this.
You want to take the
5
whole
picks.
wrap?
I want to take the whole wrap. I thought about this 5 picks ago.
Okay.
I am taking Josh Allen here.
Wow.
And then,
second quarterback off the board.
Yeah, and then I am going to take...
Gotta take a wide out, right?
You gotta take a wide out. I'm going Amari Cooper here.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I actually was gonna go. I was actually gonna go like another running back and have 3. I was gonna go like J.K. Dobbins and have 3 running backs, like 3 RB1s in the lineup.
Well, it's interesting you say J.K. Dobbins because I'm gonna take Dobbins in this spot right here.
Solid pick.
So I'm gonna pair Dobbins with Austin Eckler.
I like that team so far.
And then you have Tyreek Hill and Mike Evans as your 2 receivers.
Okay, so this weird team is back on the board.
I know who I would take in this spot. And can I take this pick? Because I think taking this guy in this spot dramatically improves this team.
Go ahead, shoot.
I'm taking James Robinson.
Okay, yes. All right, that bails you out a little bit.
Because James Robinson is now in the same position he was in last year, where he was an RB1.
Yeah.
Literally the same position. The Jaguars are returning their 5 offensive linemen from last season.
All right, so see how Joe just fixed that team real quick? So, like, we had a little bit of a situation on our hands with that team. Kelsey, then Mahomes. You're in a weird spot at running back. You take Montgomery. Notoriously weird. Then on the wraparound, he takes Robinson. Fantastic pick. I feel like that immediately elevates this team.
100%.
Immediately elevates this team. Okay.
So now it doesn't look near. So now when you take take Kelsey and Mahomes in round 1 and 2, and you're like, oh wow, I don't have running back. But then you draft guys like Montgomery and Robinson, and it's not that bad all of a sudden.
No, it's not that bad. All right, so you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to make this team look a little bit better too.
Okay.
I'm going to take Chris Godwin in this spot.
Ooh. So you're going. Okay, so Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, Kareem Hunt, and Nick Chubb. I like. All right.
See how round 3 was that weird round for a lot of teams?
You ready for this?
Go ahead.
Kyler Murray.
There you go. Don't be afraid to take Kyler.
So Aaron Jones, Miles Sanders, Calvin Ridley, Kyler Murray.
Solid team.
So this is the spot, I think, guys, where you're going to be able to wait on wide receivers. If you don't have them yet.
I'm doing a little bit of reach action, Joe.
With Julio? With the team with Julio?
Yeah, I'm going Robert Woods here.
I love Robert Woods this year. Oh. So this is an interesting team. Julio, Robert Woods, Antonio Gibson, and Saquon Barkley. Interesting. All right, here's another team that's going to take a running back. Devontae Adams, George Kittle, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Chris Carson.
Good pick. Solid pick there. I mean, you know what you're getting out of Carson. Just make sure that you handcuff that at the end.
Absolutely. But again, another team. So the 2 teams that didn't draft running backs in the first 2 rounds actually ended up with 2 decently good running back tandems. Not overpowering, but in this team specifically, you have possibly the highest scoring wide receiver, and you have a tier 1 tight end, which only 3 teams can say that they have.
Exactly. All right, so who do I got here? Zeke, Hopkins, and Allen Robinson. Interesting.
See, I think this team could be in trouble.
This team is in a little bit of a weird spot. This is tough. This is weird.
Take him. I know you don't want to take him, but you're gonna take him.
Is it who you're thinking? Kyle Pitts?
No. I thought you were gonna take Swift.
Nah, I'm gonna take Kyle Pitts.
Really?
Yeah, you got stuck.
Wow.
You get stuck.
Kyle Pitts. I do not like this team at all.
I hate that team.
Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Justin. See, this team's in a good spot, I think. And right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a guy who I think is going to have a fantastic year, and I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
In this spot. 2 young receivers, 2 veteran running backs. Solid team so far.
All right, this pick's easy. I'm going Lamar Jackson here.
Whoa. So we're sticking with the one running back. So this team, interestingly enough, you have Alvin Kamara, Darren Waller, DK Metcalf, and Lamar Jackson. Solid team, one player at every position.
Balanced.
Very balanced. Team picking Dalvin Cook, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen. All right, yeah. DeAndre Swift. There it goes.
Oof. For the record, DeAndre Swift is going to be horrendous this year.
I know, but he's going in these spots, so that's fine.
You kind of have to do it.
All right. So first pick of the wraparound in round 4. Team currently has Christian McCaffrey, AJ Brown, Josh Jacobs.
All right. I just want to let everybody know running back is now officially dead.
By the end of round 4, running back's officially dead.
Your options are as follows: Darrell Henderson, Myles Gaskin, Javonte Williams, Mike Davis, Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, and Melvin Gordon. Not great. But wide receiver is alive and kicking. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to go with... I wanted to do it, but I don't know.
You want to take Thielen?
I did. How'd you know?
Because I know you.
Yeah, I'm going to take Thielen.
Okay. And you're going to take Thielen.
And I already know who I'm going to take on the wrap.
I'm not doing the wrap?
Go ahead, do the wrap. I mean, I hope you take who I was thinking.
I was going to take a quarterback.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. That's not who I was thinking, but go ahead.
I'm taking...
You took Cooper Kupp by accident.
No, I did it by accident. I'm taking Justin Herbert.
Okay.
On the spot.
Wow, his ADP is crazy this year, huh?
Yeah. So this team currently up to 5 picks has McCaffrey, Jacobs, AJ Brown, Adam Thielen,
And Justin Herbert.
It's
not bad.
Nope. All right, you got Cook, McLaurin, Keenan Allen, and DeAndre Swift.
I'm going Odell Beckham here.
Whoa, for the flex.
Yep.
For the flex spot.
We were saying that we liked Odell Beckham in the flex spot.
All right, here we go. Oh, this is an easy pick for me. Actually, I don't know. Okay, John. I'm going to do it. So this team currently has Alvin Kamara, Darren Waller, DK Metcalf, and Lamar Jackson. I'm taking Javonte Williams here.
Solid. I like that.
To be my RB2 to pair with Alvin Kamara.
All right, I am going to go...
Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Justin Jefferson, and CeeDee Lamb.
I'm going to go...
Boom, boom, boom.
I'm going to go Cooper Kupp here.
Nice pick, Jonathan. Cooper Kupp. Wow. Another team that needs a running back. Zeke, DeAndre, Allen Robinson, and Kyle Pitts. Chase Edmonds.
Not a bad pick. Okay.
Chase Edmonds.
Devontae Adams, Kittle, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Chris Carson.
This team's in a good spot.
This team is in a good spot. All right, I'm going to go with a little reliable here. Russell Wilson.
Hey, waiting on the wide receiver. I like it. So quarterbacks are starting to go around round 4, round 5 here. Saquon, Gibson, Antonio Gibson, Julio, and Robert Woods. I'm taking Tyler Lockett in this spot.
Solid pick.
As my
nice
flex. Aaron Jones, Calvin Ridley, Miles Sanders, and Kyler Murray. A little snipe job.
I'm going to go Myles Gaskin here.
You are. Interesting.
I like Myles Gaskin this year, so.
All right. Team number 9. Nick Chubb, Stephon Diggs, Kareem Hunt, and Chris Godwin. I'm going to take Mark Andrews.
Okay. I knew he had to go at some point.
Yeah, I'm taking Mark Andrews.
DJ Moore here.
DJ Moore to pair with Kelsey Mahomes, David Montgomery, and James Robinson. And then I got Austin Eckler, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, and J.K. Dobbins. So I'm going to select... Oof.
It's getting thin.
It's getting thin, and I think I'm going to take this guy because he's got to go. I'm going to take Kenny Golladay.
Okay.
To put in the flex, that's not an awful pick.
No. Okay. So I know who I like here.
All right.
I'm going Chase Claypool.
You're going Claypool here.
And then...
So you're taking him ahead of Deontay Johnson. You're taking him ahead of Jamar Chase. You're taking him ahead of Brandon Ayuk.
Yes.
Easily.
Yeah. And then you know what I'm going to do here? Noah Fant
You're taking Noah Fant.
on the wrap.
Wow. Okay.
Mind you, once we're done with all this, we were going through it.
This is
as
the
we're
last
doing
round
it.
we're doing, by the
Yeah,
way.
and
It's
then
round 6.
we're gonna put it on our Twitter. So if you want to review it, it'll be on the Twitter.
So, all right. I got same guy. So I got Eckler, Hill, Evans, Dobbins, and Kenny Galladay. I feel really comfortable with who I have right now. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to take Dak Prescott as my QB.
Okay.
And I think this is a very solid team.
That is a very good team.
So you have Kelsey, Mahomes, Montgomery, and James Robinson.
T. Higgins.
T.T. Higgins. Interesting. Okay. So I got Chubb, Diggs, Kareem Hunt, Chris Godwin, and Mark Andrews. It's time for this team to take a... Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
What?
I'm going to do it. Take a Michael Thomas in the spot.
Yeah, I was gonna take him on that wrap instead of Noah Fant, but it's okay.
I took Thomas because you have Nick Chubb, Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, Mark Andrews, and Kareem Hunt. And when Michael Thomas gets healthy, you're going to be able to put him in that flex spot. That's dangerous.
All right, so only a few picks left here.
So we got Aaron Jones, Calvin Ridley, Miles Sanders, Kyler Murray, and Myles Gaskin on this roster. What are you thinking? You thinking tight end or quarterback?
I'm gonna go tight end. I'm gonna go T.J. Hawkinson here.
Hawk. The Hawk. All right. And then in this spot, Barkley, Gibson, Julio, Woods, and Lockett. See, I think this spot, I don't love a lot of the tight ends here. I think it's too early. So I'm gonna take Aaron Rodgers.
Nice pick.
I'm gonna take Aaron Rodgers to be my quarterback here and pair him with. See, I think after drafting a guy like Barkley in the first round, I just want to really, I know we're very over on time, I know, but still. A guy like Barkley here, who unsure of in the first round, when you pair him with guys like Antonio Gibson, Julio Jones, Robert Woods, and Tyler Lockett, and then Aaron Rodgers, you're set up for success. Because if Barkley is 80% of what he was before he got hurt, this may be the best team in the whole league.
No, you're right. I agree. I'm going
Devontae, Kittle, Edwards-Helaire, Chris Carson, Russell Wilson.
Dallas Goedert.
So you're doubling up on the tight end here.
Yeah. The late. It's a nice late double up. No?
To use Goddard as the flex?
Yes.
Interesting. Over guys like DJ Chark and Jamar Chase and Deontay Johnson and Brandon Ayuk and all those guys?
Yep.
Interesting. Got 5 more picks here. Elliott, Hopkins, Robinson, Pitts, Edmonds, Matthew Stafford.
Wow. Okay. He went way higher than I thought. Okay, for the next team, Henry, Mixon, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Cooper Kupp, Tom Brady.
Thomas Brady. All right. We got Kamara, Waller, Metcalf, Lamar, and Javonte Williams. Not crazy about this team, but I think it could be helped. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take Brandon Ayuk in this spot. I like Ayuk a lot. I think he's gonna be good.
Solid.
We got 2 more picks left, John. So you got Dalvin Cook, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, and Odell Beckham.
Mike Davis.
I do not like this team
I don't like it either.
at all.
All right, last pick.
Last pick. We got McCaffrey, A.J. Brown, Josh Jacobs, Adam Thielen, and Justin Herbert. I am going to end this by taking DJ Chark
Good pick, Joe.
as my flex on this team. Well, folks, that was our mock draft.
That was a good time. That was fun.
I like that.
That was a little deep dive into our thought process.
6 rounds. Well, McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara, Henry, Elliott, Devontae Adams, Saquon Barkley, Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Travis Kelce, Austin Eckler, and Jonathan Taylor as our first round. We will post the rest of this draft tomorrow. Folks, that is our fantasy football coverage. I'm very, very sorry that it's over and it's ending.
You'll get more of it throughout.
We'll get more of it throughout the season. But what we got coming up quickly before we let you get out of here, we have a mega NFL preview coming your way over the next 2 weeks. It's going to be so big that we're breaking it down into part 1 and part 2.
And yes, we will finally review the NFL Top 100. We've been meaning to get to that for 2 episodes now.
What's going to be part of the NFL preview.
Yeah, it has to.
And the episode, part 2, will release on the day the NFL season is coming back.
Let's go.
It is going to be gold. We're going to make full predictions. We're going to do a playoffs. We're going to give you our Super Bowl game and champion as part of our NFL preview. We're going to talk about all the top storylines, what we're expecting, what are maybe some bold predictions we'll get into, stuff like that. It's going to be a really, really fun time. Fantasy football is right around the corner. Drafts are happening every single day. Me and John are in a draft together on the 31st of August and on the 2nd of September.
Yeah, we do have some drafts coming up.
So we got some stuff coming up. If you have questions, please hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, anywhere that you could find us. Hit us up with some questions and we will give you any advice that we can. Lastly, before we let you go, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on anywhere you get your podcasts. Perfect Spiral loves everything we've been getting from our fans. Thank you guys so much. John, anything before we let everybody go on fantasy football?
Happy drafting, everybody.
Happy drafting. It's like Christmas in August, folks.
It really is.
Well, make sure you have a nice big fat present under the tree to unwrap, and hopefully it's a guy like Christian McCaffrey. For everybody here at Perfect Spiral, for Spencer Blinn, for John McCarthy, my name is Joe Miglio, and we'll see you next week.